But honey, lay off them shoes and don't you step on my blue suede shoe.
So, Sneakerella, a modern version of Cinderella, sounded to me when I first heard about it as a movie idea that either would turn out to be very clever or something that totally misses the mark, because it's kind of edgy in a way. Cinderella set in a youth street culture with race and gender swapped characters recording TikToks while they try to tell the classic story of Cinderella. The movie stars Lexi Underwood, Chosen Jacobs, Colton Stewart, and a bunch of other names that are not very well known, but you may recognize Lexi Underwood from last year's Just Beyond series. Now, this movie surprised me. It really did. I really got a kick out of this movie, actually. Kicks. Okay, jokes aside, let's talk about it. Hello, fellow Disney Plus watcher. It's nice to talk with you about Disney Plus today. If you love Disney as much as I do and enjoy talking about it, why not click the subscribe button to stay up to date, and please give it a like because it helps the video and the channel. Thanks. The story follows Elle, a stock boy growing up in Queens, working in his father's shoe shop, dreaming of becoming a sneaker designer. When he meets this mysterious girl he hangs out with for a day, he gets swept up in an opportunity of a lifetime as he discovers that she's the daughter of the most prestigious sneaker producer in New York City. First of all, the film does a really good job of making the shoe a character itself. One of my favorite shots in this movie is two shoelaces intertwining as the main characters start to fall in love. And by the end, I kinda dig sneakers now somewhat. Personally, I have only one pair of shoes, not even sneakers. I don't care about my whole closet full of shoes. I don't care about all of that, but seeing how inspired this main character is about sneakers, it really works for me, so it really tingles that imagination. Second of all, the beats of the original Cinderella that are incorporated really work for me. And I'm not like a Cinderella fanatic or something. I mean, yeah, it's a good story that inspired generations and all that. It's never been a story that specifically inspired me or whatever, but they swap out and subvert expectations with some of the roles in cool ways. To have the guy be Cinderella and have the girl find the sneaker, the gender swap totally works and gives us a fresh new perspective. The sneaker is generally a more boyish thing than the iconic high heels of Cinderella. I do have to say they unfortunately didn't find a good fit for the iconic 12 o'clock moment. In the original, it's tense because Cinderella is on the brink of being exposed. Here, there's nothing. Actually, 12 o'clock isn't a point of consequence, but they play it like they do so that Elle can lose the shoe and, you know, the story of Cinderella can continue. But what I really loved was this character who has one of the best scenes and my favorite song in the movie, the fairy godmother, who is in this film a loving gardener and precisely the guy you wish to have as your uncle. Not kidding, he has this almost mythical status in the movie, of course. He pops up whenever Elle needs him most, you know, the role of the fairy godmother. But because of this relatable, most fun at parties, on the ground kind of guy, he's in a way more magical than the original fairy godmother because it's hidden under his everydayness, if you catch my drift. It was a well-written movie overall because we get the family life of both Cinderella, aka Elle, and the prince, aka Kira King, and one is discovering the magic of designing shoes from the ground up, inspired by his surroundings, his culture, and the other lives in an environment where the magic of designing shoes has disappeared and is forgotten about, even though Kira King is the daughter of the biggest shoe designer in New York. So we see this from the ground up inspiration, and we see this top down creative bankruptcy, you know? So it's an interesting juxtaposition, and it very smoothly fits in that Cinderella formula. If you haven't seen Sneakerella yet and you're skeptical about this movie because of the Cinderella aspect of it, and you reject the idea of this modern Generation Z street culture stuff put into a story that you love so much, and you don't want Disney to ruin that, I get it, I was skeptical too, but I want to challenge you on this. Watch the movie and tell me the beats that are straight from Cinderella aren't precisely the things that makes this movie so cool. And visually, this movie is full of energy, full of graphics that help tell the story like so much comic booky effects. For example, whenever Elle is doing his designing, there's specifically a scene where he's designing the shoe the story revolves around, the shoe from the poster, and it's everything a quirky montage scene needs to be. It's fast, it's very creative, colors literally jump out of the brush, the dynamic camera zooms and pans are there. It's just so much fun. It's kind of being a trend right now, using additional drawn images or texts to emphasize something, like a comic book. Animated movies like Into the Spider-Verse or the recent Turning Red do it pretty well, but it's starting to have its effect on live action movies as well, and it shows here. This movie looks beautiful. The colors are very warm, the feels of the original Cinderella do come to fruition in the movie as well, as the scene in the ballroom has that very magical blue atmosphere. Talking about scenes that are just so much fun, the opening song is pretty catchy and really well filmed. sound. The choreography is just really tight.
It is tight.
And I'm generally surprised that I like most of the songs. Normally, I like one of them very much, and then the rest are kind of, you know, there's one standout most of the time, and I don't know, I'm not very into musical in movies. I like musical more in theater, but it works. It just works. And oh my god, I want to mention the most fun characters in this movie, Cinderella's bully sisters, who are in this film, of course, two brothers.
And what do you do then? It's two brothers.
And there's specifically one scene that's also in the story of Cinderella very important, but I'll leave it open which one it is. That's just one of the most fun, purely fun scenes I've seen from Disney Plus in 2022. Just go watch the movie and their song, pay attention to their song. It's everything a musical song can be. It's dynamic, it's acrobatic, it's catchy, it's everything. Okay, I feel like I'm gushing about this movie, but I want to be very careful with that because this movie is not a masterpiece or something, not at all. But the stuff that is good is really good and entertaining for what it sets out to do. So yes, it's a good movie, but yeah, there are some flaws with the film. There's this one song in this movie supported by a flashback about the main character's mother that completely halts the movie, and it's so corny. We learned something about Elle's family history earlier in the movie that explains it all, and gave me enough to sympathize, but unfortunately they added another extended scene where he sings about it for a while, and that's just a wasted scene. Scenes like that are disappointing to me. It adds nothing, even though it dedicates minutes and shows us flashback footage and everything. Also, the way the story wraps up, I'm not gonna say what it is, but instead of characters talking stuff out or characters chasing each other or whatever, they wrap everything to each other. And it goes on forever, and I just wish they did something more intimate with it. You know, the problem with musicals and using songs in movies is that it always takes you out of the immersion. And even if you love it, and even if the song is the best thing you've ever heard, and sometimes it is, but by design, a song within a movie where characters start singing suddenly is a break of immersion. Always. Every time. At least as far as I can imagine. So to awkwardly wrap everything to each other was a dull decision. I don't like the finale of this movie. Because it wasn't even a ridiculously catchy song or a cool choreography. It's just staged as a normal scene. They just stand there and they rap. So the climax was a huge disappointment. So that does take away something, but overall this is fun. This has so much. This has heart. The sneaker stuff is inspiring. The swapping of the characters is clever. For me, every little ingredient, every little scene clicked into place in this movie, and it did its job. Now it's up to you. What did you think about Sneakerella? Let me know in the comments below and add D+ on the top of your comments if you want me to give my thoughts on your thoughts in the coming Sunday video. I'm thinking about wrapping this up. I'll be back this Sunday, and of course next week, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers is coming out 1 week from now. So for now, have a wonderful day and see ya.